Can you give me an actual example of that? Like what the person does?
I have a perfect example. I was working in a nursing home locally at one point in time, and I had two patients.
Yeah.
They were both actively dying.
Okay.
One was in one room, and one was in the other. And they were head to head. The only thing that was separating them was a wall.
Uh-huh.
And they were literally head to head from
Yeah.
one room to the other.
Yeah.
I walked into the first room, and there's this woman who looks like an angel. She's looking like she's in a state of grace. She is completely at peace. She's breathing calmly. Her eyes are open. Her vital signs are stable. She's not communicating. She's totally within her own world. But you can see on her face there's no stress, there's no frowning, there's no signs of discomfort. Very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
It was wonderful. And then I walked into the next room, and there was this man that was extremely fearful. His son was there with him, and his son was very concerned as to what can we do next? What can we do next? And let's make sure he's comfortable, and he needs this, and he needs that, and he's constantly in anxiety. It was all I could do to get him to calm down. He is extremely fearful of his experience.
Mm.
He was in a lot of emotional pain because he had the idea that he was going to hell. Okay, he was convinced he was going to hell. He couldn't articulate what he thought the reason was he was going, but that's irrelevant.
Uh-huh.
In his mind, he was going to hell.
Uh-huh.
Here I had these two contrasting, completely opposed, diametrically opposed experiences
Maybe one
occurring.
seemed like heaven, right? One's going to heaven,
One's going to heaven, one's going to hell. But what is it? It's in their mind.
Okay.
It isn't anywhere but in their minds. But because he believes that, chances are, even though I don't believe in hell,
okay,
he will carry over with him that emotional residue.
Because that's the last thing that's happening in his head, in his mind?
Exactly. In the state and the frame of mind that he's in is what he's taking with him. So in essence, we go where we are when we leave.
So
mentally.
You don't have to believe that, but you get a record of that. What happened to him when he died? Was it just like that? Did he change at all by the time he got to the point of dying?
No, he was in a state of fear the whole time. I did what I could to try and talk to him.
What kind of progress did you make, like, in rationalizing or something?
Well, what I did was I tried to repeat certain phrases so that it was getting through to him, because he was already in his head so much he couldn't really hear what was going on outside of him.
And what was his body doing?
He was like in a fetal position, very tense. He was sweating, crying.